Welcome to T&T-Takes. My name is Tyler Schoonover, alongside Trey Sizemore. Like always, we'll be doing an NFL pod, just a preseason preview, kind of rankings going into the season. We'll talk about some Eagles and Chiefs questions. We'll talk about our division winner picks, some power rankings of positions and teams. Then we got some bets at the end to have some fun with. And then, of course, our award prediction. So we can just hop right into it. I think it's been a while since we did football. It was a few weeks, but I was expecting to do one a little sooner, but turned out okay. Too much news in basketball.
Yeah.
NBA offseason. So you want to start with the Chiefs questions?
I have my 4 questions down that we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
And my number one biggest question, which I think a lot of Chiefs fans will say the same thing, but it is who is going to step up to the number 2 wide receiver since Watkins is gone. And right now I have the 3 obvious answers as either Hardman, Demarcus Robinson, or Pringle.
Yeah.
So I'm curious who that's going to be. I hope it's Hardman because we did spend a second-round pick on him. But
yeah, I feel like you guys haven't really had that. You guys have Tyreek Hill and you guys have Travis Kelce who get the majority of the catches, but then after that it's like, who's that next big weapon?
Exactly.
And it's always somebody random every game. Sometimes it's Robinson, like you said. Sometimes it's Hardman. Sometimes it's Pringle.
Yeah, I like that, but I also want a set dude who's going to, who we know is going to go out there and do it because it sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
If Hill's hurt, a team can just fly on Kelce all game and it's going to screw us.
Yeah, Kelce's a big target, though. I mean, he basically is your second target. So, but yeah, go ahead on the next one.
The next question is with Clyde Edwards-Lair. Before he got hurt last year, he was actually having a really solid rookie year, underrated because we don't use the running back a lot. But with the new offensive line that we have and how, in my opinion, it's a top 5 to 7 offensive line with who we've got, I want to know if he will step up and be a true featured running back, see what he can do with the real offensive line, how he runs the ball, and maybe do a little more of the passing scheme. But I kind of want to know what our run game is going to be like this year with the true offensive line.
I think Edwards-Helaire is a really solid running back, though. I think that he will have a solid year. I know that in the draft that we kind of had him and Miles Sanders ranked relatively close. Like either one you'd be fine with as a running back. But I think that we'll know which one's better after this season for sure.
Oh, yeah. And then my next one is with Chris Jones. He just got moved to a defensive end. He's been playing defensive tackle since he's gotten in the NFL, and he's been averaging about 10 sacks a year, so it's really solid for a defensive tackle. But just in the preseason, his 2 games, he's gotten 2.5 sacks for the defensive end position, and there's not really been any starting tackles, who have been able to slow him down. And I'm curious if he's going to have a career year and be in the conversation for a defensive player of the year if he has 15-plus sacks like Myles Garrett and T.J. Watt and Aaron Donald all do. Because I think him in the defensive end is going to have a huge year. And then my last question is our corner group. We did not bring back Breland. We let him go. And we're taking a chance on 2 former first-rounders who did not work out with either the Giants or the Vikings with Mike Hughes and DeAndre Baker. So I'm kind of curious who's going to step up in the preseason. They've both been lights out. I think combined there's only been 2 catches in 2 games, and they've been playing the entire second half to see who's going to get that role. So I wonder – we know they're solid players. They're first-round talents. And hopefully it's just the coaches that they were on. But I'm actually kind of happy with our corner group now and how it's going to play out, really.
Yeah, I think you guys have a solid corner group. I don't know. Those are good questions, though. They're all going to need to be answered before you guys can be Super Bowl champs, probably. That's why on my questions, mine are more towards just having a good season, and yours are more towards, all right, we know what we have. Let's see what can be increased or improved to really win the Super Bowl this year. You know, you guys know you guys are already contending. What's going to put you over that edge to win it? So, yeah, those are solid questions. I think, like I said, for mine are more geared towards maybe making the playoffs.
Yeah.
And so my first 3 are all about just these players' first year or the coach's first year. So how good will Devonta Smith be is my first question. I think that he has the potential to be something really good. He's already had a couple of injuries in the training camps, which scares me. But I'm hoping that he can be that number one wide receiver. He's a little skinny, but I mean, watching him run those routes in the preseason, he's got great footwork. He's got great route running ability. I think that he can be a number one. I'm just hoping that he's ready day one to be that number one. And then, of course, second question, how good can Jalen Hurts be? Can he be that franchise quarterback? And that's something that we'll find out this year. I think last year he only had 4 games to prove it, so we still don't know if he's that franchise quarterback or not. So if he's not, we'll know by the end of this year.
How do you feel about that one?
About what?
What's your honest opinion on Hurts? Do you think he can be a franchise quarterback?
I think so. He has the mentality. He has the size, the running ability. He has. I think the only thing that nobody is sure of is how well he can throw. But he has that leadership ability. He has that mentality. He knows what he wants to do every practice. He wants to build and be better every practice. He has that great leadership. Everybody comes around him like they're ready to follow him. But until he can prove it, nobody quite knows yet. I hope he can be, because in my opinion, I could see him being like Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson had those doubts about his throwing ability early on in his career.
Same with Kyler Murray because his size. They were all worried about how he could throw. I see Hurts being that type of quarterback. I'm not going to say he's going to be their level, but I see him being just like that, where he can lead a team. I think you guys are on the right step with Smith and Hurts.
I'm not saying
I think he is a franchise quarterback. I think he can be.
I do too. I don't think that I'm not going to say that he is going to reach their level, but I'm not saying that it's impossible either.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to say
he has that potential. Yeah. He has that potential. I'm not saying that it's for sure going to happen, but
exactly, yeah.
There is a possibility, and he has that potential, and he has that play style. But yeah, so I mean, it's up to how good he plays. Obviously, if he doesn't play, if they know that he's not the franchise quarterback early on, Deshaun Watson might be rumored, or even Aaron Rodgers might be rumored. You never know, but I'm sure they're going to finish the season off with Aaron Rodgers, and then off season he might be rumored. But yeah, if he's not, draft pick maybe. But the third person that's new that I want to know how they will do is how good can Sirianni be in his first coaching gig. I know he was good as the OC over at Indianapolis, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but he was good there, but he's more of an offensive coach. He's more of a wide receivers type coach.
See, I think that's what's going to help you guys, is having a true offensive coach.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it'll help a little bit, especially with the young guy, Devonta Smith. Got a bunch of young guys. They kind of rally. He's got that high energy type coaching to him too. So I mean, sometimes that works, but we'll see how good it works. So far, it's looked pretty good though. I think preseason's been okay. I know we got stomped by the Patriots, but that was with
you guys can't really do much with just Flacco's quarterback and
I think we had our veterans sitting out too. I think, but just shows that our backups are still going to be awful. So hope for no injuries. And then the last one is can the D-line be strong enough to counteract a bad secondary? We've improved our secondary a little bit. I know that Steven Nelson's had a pretty solid camp. I know Darius Slay has been, of course, going to be our number one. He's a solid corner. And then, what's his name? Zach McPherson, the draft pick, the 4th rounder. I heard he's been having an okay camp. He's kind of come down a little bit, but we'll see what they do. But with that great D line that we have with Sweat, Graham, Hargrave, Barnett, Cox, all those guys, I think we'll put enough pressure on them to where that as long as our secondary can hold up for a little bit and not get burnt right off the line.
Exactly, yeah.
We should be all right. I think that those questions are important though for our success. Just for a successful season, not for a Super Bowl season.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. But I think that those are questions that will be answered pretty quickly.
Solid questions, really.
Yeah. So we'll move on to the division winners. I know we've already talked about the Chiefs and the Eagles division. I think that you went with the Chiefs, obviously, so did I. But I think I went with the Eagles and you went the football team.
Yep.
Yeah. So we'll talk about all of them, though. So we're going to start in the AFC. We'll start in the AFC East. I thought this was clear cut. I'm pretty sure that we have the same answer here, as long as there's no injuries, of course. But right now, it's got to be the Bills as the front runner.
Yep, I got Bills front runner. They're, in my opinion, one of the sleepers to even dethrone us to make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I honestly will get into that later on who we have going, but
Mm-hmm.
they're up there for me. So AFC North. I don't know who you're
Are we doing
looking
the
at.
whole division or just who's going to win it?
We're just gonna go who wins it.
Okay, I got
Because
you.
we're gonna get into our power rankings and everything,
Yeah.
so they'll probably get thrown in there.
For the North, I got the Browns.
Me too. It was
tough.
questionable between them
North's a tough one. I'm not gonna lie. They have really a lot of solid teams, but
Solid team.
Baker's proved that he can. He's proved a lot more than I thought he could.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about Baker for a second. Who do you think is better, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Ryan Tannehill, or we'll just go with those three. I had one more, but I don't even remember it. So
See, in my eyes, right now, it goes Kyler Murray number 1, Tannehill 2, Baker 3.
I'd probably go with that same ranking, but I mean, just
Tannehill's underrated.
Last year, I think this year, I know Tannehill's a little underrated, but I still think that even with like this year's going to prove if he's actually a good quarterback.
Oh yeah.
So I could see Baker jumping in front of him this year, and then Titans really looking for their main quarterback this offseason, or maybe even halfway through the season, depending on how they're looking.
Sean Watson to Tennessee?
Maybe. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about those three because I don't remember where they came up, and I was like, it's kind of tough. I mean, obviously, I think Kyler Murray is the best of them all.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a difficult decision. I think the other one I had was Stafford, and I'd probably put Stafford at the top of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. And that's why I have them doing pretty well this year. AFC South. I mean, we just talked about Tannehill. I have the Titans.
I have the Titans too. That one, right now it's clear cut Titans.
Yeah, it's clear cut. I think the Colts could kind of be pushing it, but I don't know.
It depends
on the quarterback
situation. Yeah,
you got to count on Wentz, and we'll talk about him too a little later. AFC West, we both said the Chiefs, so we'll move on to the NFC. NFC East, I said the Eagles. You said the football team. It could honestly be any of those four. I think the Giants don't have a chance.
I think the Giants are the oddball out. I think
they think
it's down to those other three.
I think the Cowboys have a good case. I'm only going Eagles because I have to. You know, you gotta, if there's a shot, you got to go for them. And there is a shot.
The only reason I'm picking the football team is because, in my opinion, they got a top 3 defense, and they have a decent offense. If Fitzpatrick can play decent, if they had a true quarterback, then I think they're a clear-cut winner for that division.
Yeah, it's just because it's the Washington football team, and I mean they have a good defense.
It's taken them like 3 years to pick a name.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, why can't you pick something? That's
the Indians took 2 days and they got Guardians. These guys can't even pick a name in 3 years.
I mean, unless they want to be the football team forever. That's a terrible name. But NFC North, I think that one was pretty close to clear cut. I have the Packers.
Yep, I got Packers.
AFC South, I think
NFC South.
It's more NFC South. It's more clear cut than ever.
Oh yeah, that's
I got the Bucks. And then the NFC West, I went with the Rams. I like Matthew Stafford on that team. I have them doing pretty well this year, honestly. Even my power rankings have them pretty high.
Yep, I got Rams also. That's what I thought we were gonna just difference on, but we're actually right there neck and neck with the same one.
So what did we go? Everything the same except the Eagles division?
Yeah, pretty much.
And then that NFC East could, like we said, is a toss-up. So I could see it. That's good. Yeah, we've done that. So we'll go on to the power rankings. Probably both got the same number 1 and 2.
Yep. Who do you have for your 1?
I got the Chiefs in number 1.
I got Chiefs 1, Bucks 2.
That's what I have. 3, 4. Who do you got?
3, I got Bills. 4, I got Packers.
That's exactly what I have. I knew those 4 were going to be pretty similar. We might have swapped for one or the other, but I knew those 4 were going to be there. And this is where it starts getting a little bit different. I could have put a couple of teams here, but for now, my 5 spot, I went with the Titans.
At 5, I went with the Rams.
6 is Rams for me.
And 6 for me is the Browns. Right now is the Browns.
Browns is right
there.
They
went out and got Jadeveon Clowney to be on the defensive end. He hasn't had a great career, but you have him and Myles Garrett in the same defense. That's a scary pass.
I get that. I have the Browns right in there at 7. Right after that.
See, I got the Titans at 7.
And then 8, I have Seattle.
See, 8, I have the Ravens.
Ravens is my 9. That makes sense.
9's my Seahawks.
10 was almost impossible for me to decide. I was just going to throw out some names here. And so
Now, who'd you go with?
I went with the Niners, actually.
That's what I went with, was the Niners. I went with Niners at 10.
Nice.
Just because I think Trey Lance is going to take over the team at least halfway through, and I think they're making a good push.
I think they're going to be healthy this year.
They have their defense back. That was their biggest issue.
Their defense was nice. And Nick Mullins running the show last year was a big problem. He's not even going to make our team probably for the Eagles. He's been that bad preseason.
See, I was actually kind of shocked at the same exact 10, just different order. I thought we were going to have some different teams in there.
Yeah, I had the Cardinals, Dolphins, and Colts on the fringe, maybe Cowboys, but then I was like, if you put the Cowboys, you can throw a bunch of teams if you put them. Yeah. So I kept it with those 3, with the Cardinals, Colts, and Dolphins.
Mm-hmm. Colts would have been, if Wentz was healthy, I might have put him in the top 10.
I think he's going to be healthy for week 1 or 2.
Oh, that's tough.
And if they don't have him, they're way worse off. But I still.
Is that why you sniped him in fantasy?
Yeah, I sniped him in fantasy because I was like, if he ends up having a good year, which he could, he's expected to be back really soon. He's already back in practice. Yeah. So if he can have a decent year, at least it's better than having what's his name, Daniel Jones, as my second quarterback.
I saw that pick. I was like, what the?
I was like, he rushes and he throws, and they got a terrible old line. So
I was thinking they're going to be losing a lot, so he's really expecting them to throw a lot.
Yeah, he's going to throw a lot and he's going to run a lot because they're going to be coming at his ass. But plus, I had Saquon, so I was like, maybe if he tosses a couple to Saquon, I can have a couple extra points. Be happy on both sides of it. But yeah, we had a pretty close power rankings there. On to the fun stuff here. Top 5 at each position. We both discussed quarterbacks already. I had Mahomes, Rodgers, Allen, Wilson, and Watson, and then Brady on my 6. And then you had Mahomes, Rodgers, Brady, Allen, and then Watson as your 5th, and then Wilson on the 6th spot. So pretty close there. I think we'll have some differences a little bit later on. Definitely in order probably on some of these. But
oh, yeah.
Who you got as your best running back, top number 1 running back?
See, running back was tough, 1 and 2 for me. And I think right now I got to go with Derrick Henry as my number 1.
I have Derrick Henry as my number 2. My number 1, I still have Christian McCaffrey.
See, he's my number 2. What Henry's done these past 2 years, and CMC's been hurt, I know, but Henry had over 2,000 yards rushing.
The only problem that I have with him is he's absolute, like he's nowhere. He's not in the pass game at all.
No, Henry hasn't had over 20 catches in a year, so you know what he's going to do. But the fact is that you know what he's going to do, and you still can't stop him.
Yeah, he's a big dude. I think that he's my number 2. I'm not saying I'm not knocking him at all. I just think that McCaffrey shows a little more, and I don't know. We'll see what happens, though. I think Henry's due for a down year, not like down.
I think his numbers are going to be down just because they have more receivers now with Julio and Abel. They're not going to run as much.
And they have a worse defense, so they're going to be throwing the ball more often because they're going to be losing more often. So that's just my take on Henry, but I do think he's the second best running back. Number 3, I went with Alvin Kamara.
So number 3, I went with Cook right now, just because Kamara's the only person on that offense.
Cook was going to be my number 3, but I was like, I don't know, Alvin Kamara.
Kamara's my favorite.
Yeah,
Kamara's my favorite running back in the whole NFL. Alvin Kamara's my favorite running back. But until figure out the whole Michael Thomas situation, who's even the quarterback, it's just Kamara. So
I know. Yeah, I think they ended up choosing the quarterback, but I have that as our over-under, how long he's going to last. So the number 5, I went with Nick Chubb. I think he's one of the best running backs in the league, actual running backs, but I don't think that his numbers show as a top 5 running back.
They won't until they get rid of Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, exactly.
But my number 5 is Saquon.
Yep, I have him and Jones tied for that next spot. Probably more.
So you don't have Zeke in your top 7?
Nah, not right now. He has to. I mean, he's been declining since his rookie year. Every year, just going down, and I see Aaron Jones just keep rising. So.
Yeah.
But Zeke would definitely be in the top 10. Probably the next one on the list there. Maybe Gibson, but we don't know what he is yet.
So Gibson's nasty.
He's gonna be good. Yeah, I think so. We were pretty similar there.
Yeah.
Wide receivers, like I said before the pod, our top 4 is obvious. I'm not sure what order we have, but
You put your top 5, then I'll put my top 5.
You want the full 5? You want
your full 5?
So I still think the best hands in the game, the best wide receiver in the game is DeAndre Hopkins. And then I have Devontae Adams. And then based on that last year coming into this year, I still got Stephon Diggs in my number 3, Tyreek Hill in a number 4. And my number 5, I'm leaning more towards Allen Robinson over Julio, but those two are neck and neck there at number 5.
See, my number 1, I got D-Hop, best hands in the game, like you said. Yeah. My number 2, it's tough. I'm actually going to go with I'm going to stick with Adams at 2. I'm going to stick with Adams at 2. But I got Hill at 3, Diggs at 4, and Julio at 5. I think with a healthy Julio, his year, I could see him jump from 5 to 2.
Yeah, he's one of the best receivers, obviously, but it's tough when a lot of people have A.J. Brown over him in some of these rankings that I'm seeing, and it's like, it's tough with all the weapons around him, it's going to be tough for him to prove that he's still that top one, but I'm hoping, I like Julio a lot, and I think that he got his fair share the last few years because of injuries and because he just had a team that couldn't score, couldn't throw to him in the red zone for some reason.
Yeah.
But I think Julio is definitely up there. I think that he could prove it. So we'll stick with the offense. We'll go to tight ends. Again, we probably have the same top 3.
Yep.
I have Kelsey, Kittle, then Waller.
Yep, exact top 3 for me.
Number 4, I did go with Mark Andrews, and then number 5, it was close, but I really think that Goddard is going to have a really good year, so I put Goddard in there as my number 5.
See, my number 4 is T.J. Hawkinson. I think he's underrated for being on the Lions. If you put him on a contending team like the Bears, the Vikings, the Packers, I think he's a huge jump on a lot of people's list. But then my number 5 is actually a tie between Goddard, like you said, which I think Goddard's underrated just because Zach Ertz, how they have a 2 tight end system. And I know it's early, but for his talent, for how he plays, Kyle Pitts is right now in my 5B right now. He's rookie year. You don't know what he's going to be, but this dude tore up the college scene, and he was tearing at people at camp. They said he's basically like a wide receiver playing tight end with speed, but he's strong.
Yeah, he's got that size and speed of a tight end, but he's got he's got the size of a tight end with the speed of a hand of a wide receiver. He's definitely going. I think he's definitely going to be a top 5 tight end real quick. I just haven't put him in there right now. Where would you put Noah Fant?
See, Noah Fant, I like him a lot, but my opinion, he might be number 10 for me. He's in the top 10, but I think 10 or 11, actually. He's either 10 or 11. If I look at the whole list, I'd buy him at 10.
Yeah, I mean, he'd probably be pretty close to my top 10, if not in the top 10. It's
that
just
was for you, Hunter.
He's not going to watch this. But yeah, that's all I got on the offensive side. We can move more to the defensive side. Start with some edge rushers. What's your list there?
You want us back and forth or the full 5?
Let's go back and forth. Go ahead.
All right, my number 1 best edge rusher in the game is T.J. Watt.
That's what I have. I have T.J. Watt. My number 2, I put Myles Garrett.
Yep, same. I got Myles Garrett.
Number 3, I went with Khalil Mack.
See, my 3 and 4 are the brothers, Joey and Nick Bosa.
That's my 4 and 5.
And my 5 is Khalil Mack.
That makes sense.
Joey Bosa is really underrated in my opinion. No one really talks about him. Yeah, but he's dominant when he plays. When he's healthy, he's one of the best.
Yeah, those two get injured a decent amount, but yeah, they're definitely one of the best. So questionable ones, I had Chandler Jones there on the edge.
Edge rusher is tough because you have to think outside linebacker and defensive end. There's so many you can put in there.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, there was a lot of names that I saw that I was like, But I think that those top 5 we had the same top 5, just different orders. But yeah, those are probably the top 5 in my opinion. Move on to the linebacker. You can go ahead and say your 5.
My 5, I actually got Fred Warner as my number 1. I got Wagner as my number 2. I got Levante David as my number 3. My number 4 is Kendricks, and my number 5 is Demario Davis.
Okay. See, I went with Bobby Wagner as my number 1. Then I went Fred Warner as my number 2. Then I had Levante David, Eric Kendricks, and then I had Darius Leonard.
See, I was tough between Darius Leonard. I really like him a lot, but for what Kendricks does and what Davis does on, like, they lead their team. It's crazy how good they are.
Kendricks can do multiple things too. He's not
Yeah.
just he can defend well too.
Mm-hmm.
I think he led the league in picks either last year or the year before, whatever year it was. But yeah, he's solid. I like Kendricks. Safety. I
think this one's gonna be tough for us. I think we might have some differences.
It was tough. I think we'll have some differences for sure. I went with Minka Fitzpatrick as my number 1.
My number 1, I gotta go with the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu, for what he does. Literally everything. He blitzes, intercepts. He plays corner, linebacker. This dude plays everywhere.
Yeah, he can play everywhere. I have Justin Simmons as my number 2.
I have Minka as my number 2.
And then I had Tyrann Mathieu as my number 3.
I got Jesse Bates as my number 3 for the Bengals.
Jesse Bates as my number 4.
4 is Simmons.
And then my number 5, I went with Jamal Adams.
I'm never going to put a linebacker in my safety. You have 2 career interceptions in your entire career. It's not going to be in my top safety list. Sorry. I got John Johnson III from the Browns.
Okay, that was another one that I had on here. And then I also had Buda Baker.
Yeah. And he had over 85 PPF score last year. Yeah. Jamal Adams is just a small linebacker. I like Jamal Adams. He's good, but you cannot be a secondary player and not have anything for stats. He sucks in coverage.
Yeah, that's one knock on him. But I mean, because I was looking at some lists and I was seeing him up there, and then I was seeing him way down there, and I was like, I don't have him as anywhere near the level of the first 4 that I had.
Yeah.
But I had some close ones between the rest. So I was like, Jamal Adams.
Oh yeah, and
I could see.
He screwed every team with that contract.
Oh yeah, he got a contract.
Because now every safety who they know they're better than Jamal Adams. They're gonna want that money. Like, he screwed us with Tyrann Mathieu. I don't see us resigning Mathieu now.
We'll go on the last one, I think.
Yep, corners. And this one's tough. I got a top 6 in this one because my 5 are like neck and neck.
I have 6 too.
Okay, perfect.
You want to go one back and forth?
My 1's Jalen Ramsey.
My number 1 is Jalen Ramsey. My number 2, Tre'Davious White.
So my number 2 right now is Gilmore.
Really? Gilmore is the one that's tied for my 5, actually.
See, I got Gilmore at 2. I get he's on the Patriots, but he's still a lockdown corner. It's crazy how he's been. But my number 3 is White.
My number 3 is Jair Alexander.
Yep, he's my number 4.
And my number 4 is Marlon Humphrey. And then I have Gilmore with the Xavier Howard tied there.
I got Xavier Howard and James Bradbury. That's my 5 for the Giants. Just because on the Giants he don't get looks, but he's in my opinion he could be in the top 3 if you actually watch him. He should be in the top 3 corner.
Yeah, I think a lot of these that come out are also kind of biased by who gets propped up by the media. You know, I mean, it's in a lot of sports where the media kind of, because even MVP, whoever wins MVP is like whoever just gets shown the most on Instagram and ESPN and stuff like that. So it's always just the hype that gets people to where they're at. And that's probably why I have Jamal Adams as my top 5 safeties, because he's just more popular than the other one.
Oh yeah, you don't hear anything about John Johnson III, really.
No, you don't.
All right, now for the awards thing, did you do like just 1 in each one? Did you have some that had 2? What did you do with those?
I have 1 that has 2.
See, I have 2 that have 2.
Okay. I can add a second to some of them, but I was just like, I'm going to do 1 that has 2. And, okay, so, yeah, we'll do the award predictions right now. So, MVP, who did you choose?
I got
Patrick Mahomes.
I'm not going to lie. It was actually tough. I didn't want to just say Mahomes, but I do have Mahomes. But I actually have this one I've been thinking about. It's not one of my 2s, but I've been thinking
before you say it, I'm just going to say that my MVP I have is Josh Allen this year.
See, that's a good one. But my sleeper, dude, I have Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
I'm not going to say he's going to do great, but just the way he's been going up each year, like, He's got the weapons. He's got the coach for it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, my thing is when you think about who won it just a couple years ago, Lamar Jackson, he was a dual threat that really didn't have much of an arm, but
And Kyler Murray's a better thrower than Lamar. That's why I'm saying he has somewhat of a chance to do it.
yeah, but Lamar Jackson was like the same position as Jalen Hurts right now.
Yeah.
That's with a little bit of better defense and the line. I mean, I'm not saying that there's much better line than the Eagles. Actually, Eagles have a pretty solid line, but when they're healthy, but if Jalen Hurts has that type of year and brings us to the playoffs, they could be throwing his name in there. But yeah, I mean, I could see Kyler Murray because he does remind me a little bit of that like Lamar Jackson type, but this will be his year 3, so he should be even better than he was last year, and he had a good year last year. I'm just hoping they have to make the playoffs, in my opinion, for him to get something like that. So I have. I'm just gonna go in the order that I have it written down. I didn't have like any specific order, so I went with Offensive Rookie of the Year. Next is my next one.
Okay, I get that. I got you.
So I went with Devonta Smith. I think he's the only wide receiver on the Eagles that is going to produce at a high volume. And with 17 games, you never know. He has a chance to break that rookie record of how many yards in a season. But that'll be another question we have later.
Yeah.
So yeah.
This and my defensive, both Rookie of the Years, I had 2 because I couldn't decide. And this one I have either Devonta Smith or Zach Wilson for the Jets.
Oh, okay.
Even I was listening to Aaron Rodgers' interview after they played the Jets, and he said Zach Wilson is probably the most underrated quarterback in this draft class because his arm talent is crazy. And the Jets actually built a solid offensive line around him with their draft picks. And they got Corey Davis. I think Corey Davis is going to be solid.
They do have some receiving weapons, too. They have Corey Davis. They still have
they have Elijah Moore. They have Crowder. They
Crowder
have,
from last year, yeah.
Mims. They have a decent wide receiver core.
Yeah, it's just going to be their defense. It's going to be their downfall.
Exactly.
But, yeah, it could be. I could see Zach Wilson doing it. Another one that I was looking at for offensive was Jamar Chase.
Mm-hmm.
He could possibly do it, but I don't have him written down. I'm sticking with just one guy on this one, hoping for just one guy on this one.
It'd be nice to see Devonta Smith do it. So that's why when you do that question about Devonta Smith, I think he's going to be the best wide receiver out of this draft class.
I hope so.
He's got some of the best route running.
I was going to say, I think he has the best route running, maybe the best footwork.
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing that knocked him is his size because he's
skinny. If he got some meat on him, it'd be even better.
Which he could by the end of his career. Yeah. But hopefully that doesn't affect him too much.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that would cause more injuries, but sometimes lifting the weights puts so much pressure on your joints. Exactly. So when you play, it hurts too.
Just think you've never done it before.
It's so random with injuries. Defensive Rookie of the Year. It's always, or sometimes cornerbacks, but it's heavily linemen, right?
Yeah, it depends on how good they are. There's a couple defensive
guys that
have a threat.
Most of the time wins it.
Yeah.
But I did go with the cornerback.
So yeah, I went with 2. I got Nick Bolton from the Chiefs. I think he's got a really solid year at linebacker. Yeah, I think he's going to lead our team in tackles.
Mm-hmm.
And then my number 2 is Dante Samuel Jr., the corner from the Chargers.
I like him. I wanted the Eagles to draft him so bad.
Not, just because I think we'll talk about it later on, but the Chargers have a really good threat about making the playoffs, and I think he's going to lead that secondary.
The Chargers will be solid this year. I kind of have an idea for them later too, but yeah. So I just went with Patrick Surtain because I have a feeling that he's going to go right.
I wanted to, but I didn't want the obvious one because Asante Samuel fell in the draft. I wanted a little sleeper with it.
Yeah, I like Asante Samuel Jr. though. I didn't even think about him. I know my other one was another one that's pretty obvious. It is Micah Parsons, but I don't have it written down. It's just I'm not picking a Cowboy anyways. Offensive Player of the Year.
It's rarely ever the MVP.
Oh yeah, rarely.
It's always someone different.
It's usually, I feel like last year at least it was a running back.
I think it's always a running back, and I'm going CMC.
That's what I have. I have Christian McCaffrey. I think that it's going to be a running back again. I think if it's good enough to be a quarterback, they usually win MVP.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why I went with Christian McCaffrey.
But it doesn't make sense. If an MVP is an offensive player, he should be offensive player of the year. But
yeah, I don't even. Yeah, they should probably just scrap MVP and just go with offensive player of the year. Because it just seems so weird to have both of them when they're both offensive players, and it's almost always a quarterback that wins MVP. But defensive player of the year, what you got?
See, I wanted to get away from it. I really did. But no, I am. I'm going T.J. Watt. It's T.J. Watt's here.
My choice was Chase Young.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I like Chase Young.
I was wanting to say Donald just because the media loves Donald.
I know.
But T.J. Watt's gotten snubbed 2 years in a row. The third time.
It's not just because the media loves him. He's a beast.
But T.J. Watt, but T.J. also has more sacks and all that stuff, and they still give Donald because I get it. He's a defensive tackle. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's someone else's year. I got to give it to T.J. But Chase Young's a good one. I like Chase Young.
I like Chase Young. I mean, he won Defensive Rookie of the Year last year, or no?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I thought so, but I was like, I think he deserves it. So the next one that I have, actually, we'll skip this one for now. We'll go to Coach of the Year.
Okay. Who do you got?
I went with. It was tough between. I was gonna go with the Chargers coach, but I decided to go with Sean McVay because I think they're gonna have a really good year. I've talked about it multiple times already. I think the Rams are gonna do really well. I think that Sean McVay is gonna end up getting a lot of praise for it.
See, I wanted to say Sean McVay. I did. But I really think that this coach, being his first time as a coach, with a young, dominant quarterback, who in my opinion was the best in his draft class, I'm going to go with Brandon Staley, Chargers coach. Yep. I think he's going to have a solid year.
Yeah, that was going to be my pick, but I was like, I just don't know. I know the Chargers have a lot, and they have a good chance of maybe hitting that wild card this year, but
I think even makes a wild card, and Herbert puts up the numbers, I think they give it to him.
Yeah. Same thing with, obviously, if the Lions somehow make the playoffs, Dane Campbell would probably get it, but there's no way. I don't even think Campbell's a good coach.
I clicked on one just to see what they have coaches ranked, and someone said Campbell's going to win it. I said no. The Lions aren't going to do anything, so there's no way.
The Lions are too bad. I'm not even going to blame him, really. I'm just going to.
Jared Goff.
So, comeback player of the year.
Oh, okay. I didn't put this one down, but all right. Who do you got?
So, it was basically a few options. You have Joe Burrow, you have Dak Prescott, you have Saquon, and I went with either Dak or Saquon. And I'm going to go with Saquon if I had to choose one.
The only reason I'm not picking Saquon is because they did not do anything to fix the offensive line with the Giants. I'm going to go Dak.
Yeah, Dak was my first choice at the beginning, but I was like,
I want to say Burrow, but
he's still the only reason why I didn't choose Dak is because the Bengals are just the Bengals. But Dak he's still having some injury issues, so it's just kind of hard for me to completely choose him. So I won't with Saquon.
Actually, no, wait, scratch that. Come back, play the young and pick Derwin James, safety for the Chargers. He's been out for 2 years now. But when his rookie year when he played, he was considered a top 10 safety. So I'm picking him. I'm going with a little sleeper.
All right, it's not a bad pick. So the last part we have of these awards is the playoff part of these awards. NFC champion. I went with the Green Bay Packers.
NFC champion, I've got the LA Rams.
It's a good one. Yeah, I think that the Rams, I don't see the Buccaneers doing it again, at least getting out of the NFC. Can't count them out. You never know. But I don't know. I don't see them going back to back. And I'd like to see Aaron Rodgers in his last year in Green Bay pull something out. So that's why I went with the Packers. But I do like that Rams pick a lot. The Rams are up there.
Because I want Stafford to have an MVP year. I like Stafford a lot, and I feel this is the perfect team he could have fought for.
Yeah, they have a good team. It's just Jared Goff was awful.
They have a gunslinger. I wish Cam Akers didn't get hurt. I wish he didn't. But
that's why in our fantasy draft, I was looking at Woods and Kupp, and I was like, I'm going to take Kupp. I'm going to take him. Seemed like a decent pick. I don't know, though. I'm questioning a lot of my team on fantasy, but
some of my picks after the podcast. Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
AFC champion.
I got the Chiefs.
I know you got the Chiefs. I got the Bills. I'm taking the Bills to be my pick to make it to the Super Bowl and then fall short to the Green Bay Packers.
See, I got the Chiefs beating the Rams in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs getting another ring.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with the Chiefs, picking the Chiefs. Yeah, I think that's a safe one to choose. We both have number one in our power rankings. We know that they're probably the best team coming in. I don't know. I think that everybody's seeing how you guys react to a little bit of pressure.
That's all we got possessed. That's all we got a top 5 of the line now. We went from like number 28 to top 5.
I don't know what happened in that preseason game, but he looked like he was running again.
He said that before the preseason started, he needs to get used to staying in the pocket longer, and the dude loves to run around and make crazy throws. Like, I don't get what it is.
When you pressure Mahomes, he doesn't have that mode of just, all right, I'm just gonna let this play be dead. And he likes to go for that risky stuff.
Crazy plays.
He likes to do some of those crazy risky plays, and
he's the quarterback your coach growing up tells you not to be like.
Yeah, no. Even Colin Coward will come out and be like,
"Throw it away."
My quarterback throwing no-look throws. Well, Colin Coward, I think, has a problem with the Chiefs. So.
Oh, Colin Coward hates the Chiefs.
But yeah, I think that's the only downfall that could hurt him a little bit is just not even his decisions, because he doesn't make bad decisions. It's just when he's pressured a little bit,
his pocket.
He thinks he can gun something in there sometimes. And I think that might hurt him at times, but. Yeah, the Chiefs are never a wrong pick to go far. Unless their quarterback is Chad Henne or something.
Hey, even he beat the Browns.
He didn't beat them. He got one play that finished.
Anything is possible.
He finished the game.
Dude, it's 3rd and 14, runs 14 yards, and it's 40 times like a 5-2. Browns should have freaking fired their whole defensive staff right there.
We're gonna move on to this last little segment I have. It's the over/under bet. It's kind of like Vegas, I'll give you like the over/under number. You tell me if you think it'll be over that or under that. Right. Some of these are kind of questionable. Some of them I feel like are kind of obvious, but we'll start with the Eagles and Chiefs. Start with the Chiefs. How many wins will they get? Over/under 13.5. You have that half, so then we can't tie.
Yeah, I got over.
I'm gonna take the under on this one.
Okay.
Because I have them at 13.
Okay.
I have them at 13, so it is under.
All right, gotcha.
Now the Eagles wins over/under 8.5. I took the over because if I have them winning the division, I think 9 is going to be the number you at least need to have for the NFC East.
See, I know we won divisions, but I'm actually going to go over.
Okay. Yeah, I think with 17 games, 8.5 is right there in the middle. But yeah, I don't know. It's close. I like the over, though. I'm hoping for the over. So now we're going to move on to that. And we'll stick with the Eagles and Chiefs questions here for a minute. Over or under Devonta Smith yards this season? 1,100.5.
1,100.5. I'm going to go.
That's a really close one. I know it's tough because anything could. You gotta hope Hurts can hit him. You gotta hope that Smith is that number one guy.
I'm gonna go under, but I think he's gonna get 1,100.
Okay, I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna go over because if I have him as my offensive rookie of the year, I think that he's gonna have to go over that to be that. And because I'm hoping that he fucking gets more.
It's just tough, like you said with Hurts. Like if he's the only like if Rieger points out to be nothing, like and it's just him, they're gonna focal on Devonta Smith, so it's gonna be tough.
Yeah. Chief question: Patrick Mahomes touchdowns over or under 54.5?
I'm going over, baby. He's breaking the record.
I'm gonna go under.
Just because you think he's gonna sit the last game?
I think he's gonna sit. Yeah, the last game for sure, but. Yeah, I mean, if he has a chance to break the record in the last game,
put him in there. Give him a couple drives to get that record.
Especially if it's like one touchdown or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't have them doing as amazing as they have in the past, but I'm not saying.
I don't get how they've just gotten better.
We'll see. I do have him as the under. I do have it not breaking the record quite yet. So the next Eagles one, Jalen Hurts rushing yards, 850.5, over or under.
So I'm going under.
I'm going over. Last year in the 4 games that he played, he had like 358 or something like that. And of course, that was just because we had so many injuries. He had to run so much.
See, I think that's why he's going to have under. I think he's going to start relying on his arm a little bit more.
If his arm isn't there, he's going to be running.
Oh, yeah. But I think he's going to rely on his arm.
So, yeah, I just have it over.
I can see about 6,
I can see him. I have him around like 900 yards.
That'd be nice if he had 1,000.
Yeah.
That's a lot of running.
1,000's high for, we'll see. But, yeah, last year, if you go off of last year and the 350-something yards, and it equals out to like 1,400 yards, and I'm like, that's not happening. But, yes, so I got the over. Travis Kelce's touchdowns, over or under 10.
See, I'm actually going to go under.
I actually have the over on this one.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go under because I think for like us, if our running game is how I think it's going to be, I don't think we're going to be passing as much as everyone thinks.
This one was really tough for me though because I think
he's going to finish back.
I think last year he had 10 or 11 as his best, and it was like his best ever in touchdowns at least. But with that extra game,
it's just tough because we have a lot of plays that like breakaway plays. Like we have the Hill like long plays, Hardman long. We have a lot of those plays like where Kelce isn't needed in the red zone because we have the breaker speed. Like that's what's going to be tough. That's why I got the under.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. So that's all the Eagles and Chiefs questions. Now we're going to get on to the rest of the league questions. These are kind of Carson Wentz games played, over or under 9.5.
He's practicing this week, right?
Yeah, he's practicing and he wants to play that week 1, but even if he doesn't, he'll probably be back week 2 or 3.
8.5?
9.5.
9.5. See, I'm going to go over.
Me too. I went over. I'm hoping for over because then we'll probably get that first round pick. I probably should have done 11.5 because I think 12 is the number he's got to get to for us to get that as a first round pick. But yeah, I went over. What week will Jameis Winston lose the job? Over or under 8.5?
I'm gonna go over because he's not losing the job this year.
That's what I think too. I'm thinking over because I don't think he's gonna lose it. Taysom Hill, I don't think can just take it from him. But if he does,
I think they need to keep Taysom Hill in that role he had last year. Play some running back, play some tight end, play some receiver. Like do a little Swiss Army knife action. Keep Jameis Winston. He led the league in passing
for a snap
a couple years ago, dude. Like he can still pass the ball. It's just decision making. But he even said he needs glasses. He literally came out saying he needs contacts glasses. He doesn't wear them. That's why he had so many interceptions. You can't see. You got to wear something.
Yeah. So we both have the over there. How long until Trey Lance is starting? Over or under 8.5? I have the under.
I have the under. I have my exact week is week 5.
I don't even know if Andy Dalton's going to make it that far.
Wait. Trey Lance?
Oh, Trey Lance. My fault. Yeah, so I have the under on that one too. But I have it.
You get confused. I was like, wait a second.
Just because they're both so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so close. I mean.
I think it's week 5 for Lance coming up.
They're both. They haven't said who the starting is yet. So that's why I think I'm going to go under because if they haven't said Jimmy Garoppolo's already the starter, then.
Yeah. I personally think they should wait 1 year for Lance. Do like the Chiefs did with Mahomes because Garoppolo's not a bad quarterback. He's not.
No, he's not.
But
he just can't stay healthy.
They're on win now. For how much money they have on that team, they're win now. So they have to have the best quarterback.
Yeah, they will. Trey Lance will get that job. How long until Justin Fields starts?
Week 2. Week freaking 2.
Under there too. And then how many weeks until Deshaun Watson gets traded? Over or under 8.5?
So that's a tough one because you don't know what.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know when the allegations are going to be done. We don't know.
Mexicans is probably hoping he's traded soon, but shoot.
I went with the under because if they say that he's good to play, I think that
You said 8.5?
Looking to get traded. Yeah.
Yeah, we go under.
Yeah, I think if he's cleared to play early on, they're going to be everybody's going to be looking to see if they're interested in giving him up. But then again, it's hard to just bring him into a new offense like that.
Yep.
But I think the Broncos will be willing right away.
Freaking Hunter thinks Drew Lock's going to have an MVP year.
Yeah, right. I don't even know if he's going to be the starter. I was going to ask you that, Drew Lock or Teddy. Who you got?
I got Drew Lock.
I think Teddy's going to be just more.
The way Drew Lock's played this preseason, I think it's got to be Drew Lock. He's playing different now.
Haven't watched much Broncos preseason, got to say that.
I watched some highlights of him.
What about Cam Newton or Mac Jones? I'm thinking Mac Jones. I hear Cam Newton's not looking very impressive.
See, on the opposite, I think Cam Newton's actually looked pretty good in preseason. Better than he did last year. He's throwing the ball deep. But I think
they did a joint practice with the Eagles, and they were talking about how he would run a play and literally stand there for like 14 seconds just looking for, because they're not like, I don't think that they were doing like actual.
It was like 7-on-7 and stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So he would literally just stand there and look for fucking 14 seconds. Everybody's like, dude, this isn't helping anybody. This is just you just standing there. It's not helping.
I'm going to go with Mac Jones. I think he's a Patriot quarterback.
You want Mac Jones? Yeah, I think he fits the system better for sure. I think that's all of them, though. I think that's the only last battle at the quarterback spot.
Yeah, the rest of them aren't.
The Eagles have to name their quarterback, so I don't know if we're going
That's
Joe.
Sad. You don't just name your quarterback already.
I say it doesn't hurt. Everybody's like, why not have that extra competition? Like, well, everybody knows Jalen Hurts is the starter. At what point does it start getting a little bit disrespectful that the coach is like, we don't know yet?
It's different when it was Wentz and Hurts. They're both healthy. Like, that's a quarterback battle.
Yeah. And they went week to week
who's gotten cut every freaking team he's gone to since the Ravens.
Yeah, I know. And what drives me nuts is if you're the best player on the team, you want to be recognized at some point as, hey, this is our number one. This guy is ready to go. He's going to be our number one. But especially when you got a guy like Joe Flacco behind you, wouldn't you like to be a little bit recognized? I feel like at some point it becomes a little bit disrespectful.
All right. But do you think that Trevor Lawrence has a chance for Offensive Rookie of the Year?
I think he has a chance. He's got some decent receivers, and he's got a young running back coming up. I mean, I think
he finishes in the top 3 as rookie quarterbacks if they all end up starting?
See, in my opinion, I think I said this on our off-season pod when we were talking about the draft, and I think that I said that Trey Lance is my favorite quarterback out of this. He could be the best one. Yep. So yeah, I mean, but I like Trey Lance a lot. I think that he will end up being the best quarterback out of this draft.
See, I got Zach Wilson still as the best in my opinion.
But
Zach Wilson.
Even if you have those two, though, I still think Trevor Lawrence comes in at third. I don't think Mac Jones is better than Trevor Lawrence, and I don't think that Justin Fields is ready to prove he's better than Trevor Lawrence. Yeah.
Fields has a better team around him where I think he's going to jump. He's got Allen Robinson. He's got for sure number 1. He's got Dave Montgomery, who's an underrated running back. And then top 10, top 15 defense. Jaguars don't have.
The only thing with Justin Fields is the reason why he wasn't drafted as high is because of his throwing mechanics.
Well, because he's from Ohio State. No one trusts Ohio State's quarterbacks. But the way he's looking in the preseason, like he moves in the pocket.
Everybody knows he can move.
But he hasn't looked to really run much in the preseason. I think he's trying to show people that he can stay in the pocket.
That's what Jalen Hurts is doing, too. He's not running much.
Yeah.
Well, he only played 1 preseason game, but even in practices,
Jalen Hurts doesn't need to. He needs to stay in the pocket and don't get hurt.
Yeah.
Did you see Fields get knocked by the Bills? Dude's helmet and his headband came off.
Okay, he got popped.
Someone said Andy Dalton put a fine on for that dude.
Yeah. All right, so that's all that I have for this pod. Probably do another one around the week 1 time. Do a little bit of a preview of our games. So what is that? 2 weeks from now?
Yep. No. Yep. 2 weeks.
Early September.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Week 1, September 12th.
Okay, so he has like 3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks away from the Tuesday after.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll probably do another one before then. that week, so it probably will be about 2 weeks from
2 weeks
tomorrow.
for football pod, yeah.
Yeah, and then something happens in basketball, we might do one. So.
Yeah.
Works for me. It's a long one. Pretty good. Later.
See ya.